Hello guys, this is Danya Ashokan and welcome to yet another video of Finding Home in Yourself. As you might have understood from the title of this video, today's video is going to be a bit different from the topics that we usually discuss on our channel. But with the tax season just around the corner, especially for those of us who are based out of Canada, I hope that you find this video to be super valuable. But before we get started, a couple of reminders. Firstly, I'm not a tax professional. I'm just here to share my experience of filing my own taxes in Canada for free, and I hope that you are able to leverage from this experience and use it for filing your own taxes. Secondly, if at any stage of the process, if you feel that your process is getting a bit complicated, then please get in touch with a tax professional and they'll be able to guide you best with the rest of the steps. With those reminders out of our way, let us get started. So, based on my research, I could find two commonly used platforms. One was TurboTax and the other one was Wealthsimple. In my first year in Canada, I had used TurboTax, and in my second year, I have used Wealthsimple. I have found both of these platforms to be very convenient and super helpful, and my experience has been pretty good with both of these platforms. The reason why I chose Wealthsimple in my second year is because in TurboTax, I was not able to declare my investment income or my T5 slips for free. I would have had to take a premium account for that. But in Wealthsimple, I was able to file even my T5 or my investment income for free. So for that reason, I switched from TurboTax to Wealthsimple in my second year. But I found both of these platforms to be really helpful, and I had a seamless experience of getting my returns and filing my income tax really conveniently with both of these platforms. And before we look at how we can use a Wealthsimple platform for filing our taxes, make sure you're ready with all of your tax related documents in one place. This includes making sure that you have your SIN number handy and making sure that you have all of the T4 slips provided by all of the employers or the companies you were employed with in that particular financial year. So, for example, if you're filing the taxes for the year of 2023, then make sure that you have all the T4 slips from all of the companies that you're employed with, starting from Jan 1st of 2023 up until December 31st of 2023. If you were someone who was self-employed or working on a contract, then instead of your T4 slips, your firm would have provided you with a T4A slip. In addition to your T4 slips, please also make sure that you also keep all of your T5 slips handy. T5 slips are issued by your banks or your financial institutions or your investment broker firms. These have the information about all of your investment income earned in the financial year. So once you have all of your tax related documents readily available with you, now is a good time for you to get started with the tax filing process. And just one more point to note over here. If you're a new immigrant to Canada and this is your first time filing taxes in Canada, then you might not have your CRA login information readily available with you right now. But worry not, because if you have all of these documents readily available with you, the process should be pretty straightforward for you as well. And if you are someone who has already filed your taxes in Canada, then you should be able to easily view all of your tax related information on the CRA website. Just use the CRA login credentials and log into the website, and then you will be able to view all of the tax related information on the CRA website as well, which means that you'll be able to view all of your T4 slips and all of your T5 slips that all of the banks and financial institutions and your employers have filed with CRA, which you can use to cross verify the information that you will be now filing with the CRA. Now, with that background, let's get started and let's take a look at the Wealthsimple tax filing platform. This is the Wealthsimple platform that you can use for your tax filing. Just click on the tax filing tab here on the Wealthsimple platform. That will take you to this page. Once you're in this page, you can just click on the start filing tab here. And here you can just enter your email and password. If you already have an account with Wealthsimple, you can just log in here. Once you have logged into the Wealthsimple page, you can click on tax on the tax tab here. And then you can choose the particular year that you want to file your taxes for. Since this is 2024, you can choose 2023 return over here. So firstly, you will be required to enter some of your basic information. Here you can enter your name, your email address. They'll ask for your social insurance number. You can provide that as well. Your date of birth And then preferred language for communication, you have the options of choosing between English and French. You can choose a language whichever you prefer for your communications. And then the next question is that, is this the return for a deceased person? You can answer this as no if this is not a return for a deceased person. Once you have provided the basic information, then you will be requested to enter your netfile access code. If you have previously filed your tax returns electronically, then you have the instructions available here as to how you can find your netfile access code. But if you don't have that code available with you, that's also fine. You can just skip this and then move on. From my understanding, the advantage of providing a netfile access code is that it just makes the process easier for CRA with regards to the integration with your previous tax returns. But if you have that information, provide that, and if you don't have that, then that's fine. The next thing that you'll be prompted to enter here is your mailing address. You can enter your current mailing address and your telephone number. Next question is whether you were a resident of Canada for all of 2023. So if you were a resident of Canada in all of 2023, you can answer this as yes and move on to the next section. But if you're a new immigrant and this is your first time of filing taxes in Canada, then you can answer this question as no. Then you will be asked if you became a resident of Canada in 2023. You can answer that as yes, if that's the case. And then they ask if you agree, if it's your responsibility to properly report your income, you can answer that as yes. And then you will be prompted to enter your date of entry, which is the date you entered into Canada. Then you will be required to report your income you earned for the part of the year that you were not a resident of Canada. So you can convert all of those amounts to CAD, Canadian dollars, if applicable, and enter those amounts here. If this is not applicable for you, you can just enter these amounts as zero. So the next bunch of questions are regarding your province or territory. You can confirm these details, and then they'll ask you if your home address is same as your mailing address. You can answer that as yes. You can also then confirm the province or territory in which you currently live from the drop-down options available. You have to again answer all of these questions depending on your particular scenario. Once you have provided the information about your family, then you will be moving on to the next stage of the process where you will be required to answer some general questions. The first one being, are you filing an income tax return with the CRA for the first time? You can answer that as no if it's not your first time, and if you can answer this as yes if this is your first time. And then they'll ask you if you're a Canadian citizen. And if you are a Canadian citizen, you can answer that question as yes. And if not, you can answer that question as no. Then they ask you if you are a person registered under the Indian Act. This generally applies if you lived and worked on a reserve here in Canada. And the next section is regarding the property and your investments here in Canada. Then they ask you if you hold any specific property where the total cost of all such property was more than $100,000 in 2023. You can answer that question as applicable for you. Then they ask you if you disposed your principal residence in 2023. Again, if you did not, you can answer that question as no. And if you did, you can answer that question as yes. Similarly, they ask you if you flipped a property. Again, as applicable, you can answer. They also ask you if you opened a first-time home savings account in 2023. Again, you can answer this question as applicable for you. And then they also ask you if you were confined to a prison for a period of 90 days or more in 2023. Again, you can answer this question as applicable. And if not, you can just answer that as no. And that's it for this section. Then you will be moving on to the next section of the filing process where you will be prompted to enter the information about Canada carbon rebate, which is basically you need to provide the information of where you're living. So if you have been living outside the areas, metropolitan areas that are listed here, then you need to answer that question as yes. But if you're living in Toronto or any of these areas of Ontario that is listed here, then you have to answer that question as no. Then the next question is about organ and tissue donor registry. Here you can provide your consent to share your contact information if you want to, and if not, you can just answer that question as no. The next question is regarding Ontario Trillium benefits. They ask you if you or your partner will be applying for the Ontario Trillium benefit. If that is applicable for you, and if you want to, you can answer this question as yes, and if you don't want to, you can answer that as no. Once you answer this question as yes, and if you're eligible for this particular benefit, then you will receive a particular amount whenever the payment is due into your account. You can visit the CRA website for the exact details about the payment schedule and the amount. Then you will be asked to enter details about your CRA account, and if you want to sign up for online mail to get a notice of assessment, you can enter that information over here and provide them with the email in which you want to receive the notice of assessment. And then you will be moving on to the next section. In this section, you can autofill your return, which means that you can import the details from your CRA account into the Wealthsimple platform so that you can make sure that all the information that the CRA has received is also imported into the Wealthsimple platform and you are entering all of the information correctly. So you can enter your CRA login details here and then import all the information from your CRA account onto this Wealthsimple platform. Then you'll be moving on to the manage your tax forms section. In this section, you can search for the particular document that you want to enter. So for example, if you were employed or had a job, then you can search for employment income related document T4. Then you can enter all of your T4 related information here. So basically you would open up your T4 form and enter each of the information that is there on your T4 form onto the Wealthsimple platform here. And you look at the T4 slip to see which all columns are filled in the T4 slip, and you will enter the exact same amount as that is there in the T4 slip onto the Wealthsimple platform here. So for example, in box 14 of your T4 slip, if they are mentioning an amount of $80,000, then that is the exact amount that you would enter on your Wealthsimple platform over here as your entry for the box 14. Similarly, for each of the other boxes of your T4 slip, you would enter the exact same amounts on each of those boxes onto the Wealthsimple platform here. If you had imported your details from the CRA website, then you would be able to see all of this information already pre-populated on your Wealthsimple platform as well. But if this is your first time filing, then you would be, in all likelihood, be prompted to enter each of this information manually. And then the next section is about RRSP contributions and deduction. Again, this is pretty straightforward. They'll show you your deduction limit and then they'll ask you for all the information regarding your RRSP contributions and deduction. You can enter all of this information as applicable for you, but if you do not have any RRSP contributions, you can just enter as no and answer all of these questions as no and then move on to the next section. The next section is for your investment income. This is the section where you would enter all of your investment income related information. The process here is very similar to what we did with our T4s. Here you would look at the T5 slips and look at the information that is entered into the T5 slips. And for each of the boxes that have an information in the T5 slip, you will enter the same amount onto the boxes that is there on the platform for the T5 slips on Wealthsimple. So for example, box 13 is for interest from Canadian sources. So if in your T5 they mention a particular amount in box 13, you would enter the exact same amount onto the box 13 over here. And similarly for all of the other boxes as applicable, you would enter all of the information and make sure that it matches with the information that you're now providing CRA through the Wealthsimple platform. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire process. If you have any other documents that is applicable for you, you can then search for that particular document on the Wealthsimple platform in the search bar that I showed you previously. Then you'll be prompted to review all of the information that you provided in the previous steps. You can again go through each of those numbers and all the information that you entered and make sure that you have entered it all correctly. And once you have reviewed everything, you can click on next and then you will be taken to the summary page. On the summary page, you will be able to see a quick snapshot of your entire tax information, which basically includes the information of the amount you owe to CRA or the amount you need to receive as a refund from the CRA. And once you're sure about all of these numbers, you can go ahead and click on submit. Once you have submitted, if you owe a particular amount to the CRA, then you can click on the link to make a payment and you'll be redirected to the payment page where you can pay the particular amount with CRA. And if you're expecting to receive a return from the CRA, then you can provide your direct deposit information using the CRA website. And if this is your first time filing taxes in Canada, then I don't think you'll be able to receive the refund directly deposited into your account. Instead, you'll be receiving it as a check in your mail. But if this is not your first time, then you can just provide your direct deposit information and then they'll directly deposit the amount into your bank account. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you found this video to be valuable. And if you did, do not forget to hit the like button below and also share this with your friends who are also filing their taxes in Canada. And maybe you all can file your taxes together as well. Happy tax filing. Thank you all. Bye.